Thomas Partey. The guy has been accused of at least 3 separate instances of sexual assault. Yep, 1 in Spain, 2 more in the UK, but not 1 suspension. Arsenal didn't even blink. Sky Sports ran deep dives on his passing lanes, but not a single question about the fact he was literally accused of rape while representing the club. Let's not kid ourselves. This isn't about innocent until proven guilty. It's about valuable until proven a liability. Because when Mason Greenwood was accused, boom, suspended instantly. Club statements, internal investigations, brand image damage control. Why? Because Greenwood is young, dumb, and wasn't that good yet. Thomas Partey, Premier League veteran. £45 million price tag. Arsenal finally back in a title race. Suddenly, let's wait for more information becomes the default strategy. But then the cherry on top, the moment the accusations broke, Partey disabled comments on Instagram, then later changed his name on social media to Yakubu. Bro thought changing his name would confuse the police or something. This isn't GTA, this is real life. And the football world just played along. Even journalists, usually foaming at the mouth for a scoop, suddenly lost their voices. Not even at press conferences have they asked Arteta a single serious question. Not one club statement. They didn't miss it, they just decided it wasn't worth dealing with. Because if you acknowledge the problem, you have to act on it. And if you act on it, you might have to bench a key player. And if you bench a key player, well, now you've got a real problem. But then suddenly one of the most overlooked things just came up. One of the women literally went to the police. There was an actual police report. But when the case didn't progress, probably because these cases rarely ever do, the club treated it like a free pass. It's not even the first time this league has pulled this. Remember Benjamin Mendy, 10 counts of rape, 2 years of chaos, cleared on some charges, still ruined his career. Except Partey, no media circus, no suspension, just vibes and vertical passes. This is why people are pissed. Not because they're judge, jury, and executioner, but because they see the selective silence. If he was a squad player, gone. If he played for a club that wasn't in a title race, suspended. If his name wasn't Partey, but say, Pablo Mari vanished from the team sheet, but he plays for Arsenal. He's a starter, and Mikel needs him to invert in build-up. So rape allegations? Yeah, we'll just not mention that part. Netflix won't touch this. Amazon's All or Nothing skipped it like it was a bad training session. And the football world keeps pretending we don't know, but we do, and they do too. Andres Escobar, it's June 1994. Colombia's golden generation just self-immolated on the world stage. They came as title hopefuls, they left as scapegoats. And at the center of the storm, Andres Escobar, centre-back and captain. But then, in the second game of the World Cup, a cross from the USA came in the box. Escobar stretches and deflects it into his own net. Colombia goes 0-1 down. The match ends 2-1 to the USA. The dream of the whole country dies. But then something insane happened. Days later, people would call it the darkest day of football history. Fast forward 10 days. Narco gangs, betting networks, violent bettors, they needed someone to blame. On 2 July 1994, Escobar leaves a bar in Medellin. Outside the club, he gets into a heated exchange with men tied to drug lords and betting mafias. Words are exchanged, then 6 shots rang into his body. Witnesses say the killer yelled goal with every bullet. The sad thing is that he died at 27. No trial of broader conspirators, just a driver named Humberto Castro, the fall guy for higher-ups who lost bets. He got 43 years, served only 11, freed for good behavior. The driver, who was the only person caught, claimed he acted alone, but many believe he was the fall guy. His employers, the Gallon brothers, powerful narco figures who lost monster bets, likely ordered it. Prosecutors couldn't convict them. Evidence went sideways. Some suspect payoffs to distract from the real masterminds. Colombia during the narco era and football and drug money were inseparable. Pablo Escobar literally funded Atletico Nacional. But that such a thing would happen saw many people coming. Colombia lost to Romania 1-3 in their opener. That stung, but you can recover, right? Next up, USA. John Harkes sends in a cross. Escobar stretches to intercept, and then you know already. But in Colombia back home, it wasn't just an elimination, it became national humiliation. And in that country at that time, failure was deadly. Escobar engaged had just recovered from a serious knee injury, and even AC Milan were allegedly circling for a transfer. But that he was loved turned out later at his funeral. Over 120,000 people turned up to his funeral. The president even issued a statement praising his integrity. His family started the Andres Escobar project to help disenfranchised kids avoid violence through football. Medellin even erected a statue in 2002. This time Netflix made a documentary while ESPN's The Two Escobars got more real access, but most fans had to dig to even find the story. Karim Benzema, France's most misunderstood striker, or just their most slippery. Let's rewind to 2015. The French national team is gearing up for Euro 2016. Team chemistry is good, vibes are strong, and then boom! The sex tape happened. No, not Benzema's, his teammates. Mathieu Valbuena, the small guy with the massive calves, somehow has a private video leaked. Allegedly intimate, definitely not meant for the public. Very do not forward. Enter Benzema. Not as a hero, not as a friend, but as the middleman. Because the people blackmailing Valbuena, yeah, they somehow got Benzema involved to convince his teammate to pay up. Imagine your teammate coming up to you at training and going, "Hey bro, I know a guy. You might want to pay him." Or things could get complicated. That's not friendship, that's mafia level menace. Benzema basically told Valbuena, "Don't be stubborn, pay the guys. They're serious." But the dark thing was, the police were already on the case, wiretapping phones, and when Benzema had that lovely heart-to-heart with Valbuena, the call got recorded. Oops! Suddenly, Benzema's not just Real Madrid's silky striker, he's the alleged fixer in a blackmail scandal featuring one of his own teammates. Plot twist? Valbuena refused to pay. Another plot twist. France kicked Benzema out of the national team. Just like that. Dropped. Banished. Benzema was furious. Said it was a racist conspiracy. Said the coach caved to public pressure. Said he was innocent. Which is awkward, because in 2021, 6 years later, a French court convicted him of complicity in the blackmail, gave him a 1-year suspended prison sentence and a €75,000 fine. What the fuck? So a convicted blackmailer still went on to win the 2022 Ballon d'Or. In any other sport, being found guilty in court for helping shake down a teammate would be the end of your career. In football, it's just a plot device before a Champions League final. And Real Madrid didn't blink. They backed him, played him, made him captain. He won La Liga, scored goals for fun, and led the line like nothing happened. The French national team, though, they weren't having it. Benzema stayed frozen out for 6 years. No Euro 2016, no World Cup 2018, no Nations League glory. But then guess what? France won the World Cup without him. Eventually, in 2021, they brought him back. Because of course they did. Deschamps swallowed his pride. France needed goals. Mbappe needed a babysitter. And Benzema was suddenly the prodigal son returning. It was like nothing ever happened. Except, it did. The fact that Valbuena's career collapsed while Benzema's skyrocketed. A bit disgusting. Valbuena became a punchline, Benzema became a Ballon d'Or winner. But then, let's not forget, Benzema was already controversial before this. He once said in an interview, "If I score, I'm French. If I don't, I'm Arab." Which, yes, is a real quote. He also had previous issues with French fans, media, and the national anthem. Nigeria's U17. In 2016, the Nigerian Football Federation decided to do something wild, something dangerous, something no one saw coming. They did bone scans. But guess what? Almost the entire squad failed. Not a few, not 3, not 5. 26 players were told, "Thanks, but you're too old for this." 26. You could literally field 2 full squads of overaged men pretending to be teenagers. Imagine showing up to a youth tournament and the guy marking you has a full beard. This isn't just cheating, this is elite level deception. This is like showing up to a U17 tournament with Vincent Kompany playing CB and saying, "Don't worry, he just hit puberty late." But then the worst part had to be revealed. Nigeria's been doing this for years. They've won 5 U17 World Cups. More than Brazil, more than Germany, more than literally anyone. But when you realize some of those boys were probably old enough to remember Luis Figo, it starts to make sense. This wasn't talent development. This was fraud with football boots on. But now, to be fair, it's not just Nigeria. Other nations have been caught too. But Nigeria, they turned it into an art form. Bone scans were introduced by FIFA to detect overage players using MRI technology. It checks growth plates in the wrist. Once they fuse, you're over 17. Simple, right? Unless you're from a system where birth certificates are vibes and players regularly knock 2 years off their age like they're haggling at a market. In Nigeria, football age is like Tinder age, completely made up and full of lies. Players literally change names and identities to stay eligible. There was even a player in 2010 who showed up at an airport and his passport said he was 17. Problem? A journalist found a match program from 6 years earlier with his photo, saying he was 18 back then. By that math, the guy was 24 pretending to be 17. So when the NFF finally did bone scans in 2016 and most of the squad got yeeted out, it wasn't a surprise, it was long overdue. One of the officials actually said they were shocked by the results. Mate, if you're shocked, you're either lying or you've never seen your own squad before. But some fans even defended it. Yep, the logic. Well, other countries cheat too. At least that's what they said. And yeah, these players did ball out. They crushed youth tournaments. They beat actual 16-year-olds like they were playing against toddlers. But did it help long term? Not really. Nigeria produces amazing youth talent, but their senior team, inconsistent. Because when half your U17 squad hits retirement by age 25, you've got no one left. But it's even sad too, because there are real talented young Nigerian players out there. Kids who actually are 16. Kids who got pushed aside because some grown man with fake papers took their spot. That's the real cost. And the system doesn't help. Clubs, agents, coaches, all looking for the next wonder kid. And they don't care if he's shaving twice a day. They just want results, they want trophies, and they want a cut. But somehow, the team still looked suspiciously mature in future tournaments. Weird, right? Maybe the growth plates got shy. Maybe the scanner was having a bad day. Or maybe, just maybe, the age fraud never really stopped. It just got smarter. Now they tweak dates more subtly, drop 2 years instead of 5, enough to fly under the radar, but still dominate the U17s like it's a dad versus son match. It's not just cheating, it's institutionalized cheating, and the rest of the football world mostly laughs it off, because it's just youth football, right? Until you realize entire careers, scholarships, and opportunities are being stolen. So yeah, next time you watch a U17 highlight and see a Nigerian striker hit a 40-yard screamer, just ask yourself, was that a rising star or a dude with a receding hairline and 2 kids in secondary school? FBI visit, it's May 2015. A fancy 5-star hotel in Switzerland. Velvet carpets, gold elevators, FIFA officials in $3,000 suits, sipping overpriced espresso. But then boom, FBI SWAT teams roll in like actual feds in suits with badges and stuff. These FIFA executives thought they were in Zurich to chill and maybe rig another World Cup bid. Turns out they booked a one-way trip to jail FC. The lineup? Sepp Blatter, the godfather of the whole operation. A man who smiled like your creepy uncle at a wedding and ran FIFA like it was the mafia. Jack Warner, FIFA vice president, from Trinidad, accused of stealing millions, selling World Cup tickets, and straight up acting like football was his personal ATM. Then there's Chuck Blazer. Yes, that's a real name, an American FIFA exec who did even more dark things. But then suddenly, the darkest thing imaginable happened. Blazer turned snitch, wore a wire, and recorded conversations in secret. The FBI and Swiss authorities had been watching these guys for years. Bribes, kickbacks, secret payments, fake charities. You think FIFA picked Qatar and Russia for the World Cup because they love desert heat and authoritarian vibes? Nah, they got paid. Like suitcases of money paid. There were millions flying around like confetti at a Champions League final. TV rights, marketing deals, construction contracts, every part of football had a price tag, and these guys were cashing in like it was Black Friday. One official got caught with $10 million in bribes. Another accepted Rolex watches as gifts. But when the FBI dropped the hammer, FIFA acted shocked. Yeah, sure. Sepp Blatter came out with his usual "we did not know" speech, like he hadn't been the ringmaster of this clown show since the 90s. FIFA tried to spin it like it was just a few bad apples. Mate, this wasn't apples. It was the whole damn tree. The World Cup bidding process, straight up auction, TV rights in South America, sold to the highest bidder behind closed doors. Youth tournaments, used as cash laundromats. Meanwhile, fans were out here paying £100 for replica shirts and £50 for match tickets, thinking they were funding grassroots football. Nah, but the most insane thing of all is that after the arrests, Sepp Blatter still got re-elected. That's how shameless it was. It took worldwide media pressure, sponsor threats, and about 97 documentaries for him to finally step down. And even then, he acted like he was doing us all a favor. FIFA said they were going to clean up the organization, reform, transparency, all that PR nonsense. Then they replaced Blatter with Gianni Infantino. Yeah, the bald guy who smiled through Qatar 2022. So basically, new face, same chaos. Let's be honest, FIFA isn't a football organization, it's a money printing machine in a football costume. They pretend they're about the game, the fans, the players, but really, they're about bags. Bags of cash, bags of silence, bags of bribes. And Netflix, they made a nice clean documentary with dramatic music and stuff. But they left out the part where things really got embarrassing. Luis Suarez, October 2011, Liverpool versus Manchester United, one of the biggest games of the season, and Suarez decides to spend the afternoon chatting racial abuse into Evra's ear. Evra reports it straight away. FA investigates. They bring in translators, lip readers, character witnesses, and after weeks of digging, the verdict comes in. Guilty. 8-game ban, £40,000 fine, which, let's be real, is like 4 hours of Suarez's wage. But then Liverpool did something even worse and evil. Player gets punished, club apologizes, everyone moves on. No, just kidding, not in this league, not in this drama. Liverpool's reaction? They backed Suarez. Hard. They didn't just stand behind him, they built a bloody PR shrine. A club statement calling the FA decision flawed. T-shirts printed overnight. And the next match? The entire Liverpool squad warms up wearing Suarez 7 shirts. Not even kidding. Imagine being the only black player in that lineup, wearing a shirt supporting a guy who racially abused another black player. That's not team spirit. That's hostage behavior. But then the ban goes ahead, Suarez serves it. Evra, meanwhile, gets booed everywhere he goes. Called a liar, called a snitch, called the problem literally everywhere. But then came the incident people still talk about till this day, literally. Suarez's first game back. Liverpool versus United again. Evra offers his hand. Suarez skips it. The cameras zoom in. The tension is nuclear. Evra looks stunned. The crowd goes mad. And at full time, Evra celebrates like he won the World Cup on Suarez's back. Iconic. Post-match it goes further. Dalglish doubles down. Blames Evra. Blames the media. Suarez eventually apologizes. Sort of. A half-hearted statement about misunderstanding and regret. But here's where things get funnier. Years later, Suarez admits he used the word Negro. Claims in Uruguay it means mate. Oh, cool. So you casually call opponents mate during heated arguments in front of 40,000 people? Nice try. Luis Suarez is not a one-incident guy. He bit players 3 times. He dived more than Vinny nowadays. He got banned for racism. But yeah, I know he was a goal machine, nonsense dribbling. That 2013-14 season at Liverpool, outrageous. 31 goals, no penalties, and most of them were sick. After that, he played for Barcelona and Atletico. He won league titles, Champions League nights, golden boots. But the Evra incident? Still attached to his name. Netflix won't mention it, FIFA won't show it. Luis Suarez holds one of the darkest individual player moments in Premier League history. Juventus, the club of legends, of trophies, of style. Nah, don't think so. 2006, Serie A. Italian football at peak drama. Partey is still scoring screamers. AC Milan are elite. And Juve? Well, Juve's in the middle of calling up referees like they're ordering pizza. Literally. Basically, Juventus executives were caught on wiretaps arranging which referees should officiate their matches. Not asking, not hoping, ordering. But then happened Luciano Moggi, Juventus sporting director at the time. Instead of horseheads, he used mobile phones. The guy had a secret SIM card system and a list of friendly refs. If a ref didn't play ball, gone. If a ref did, he got to officiate Juve games. And shocker, Juve kept winning. They basically turned Serie A into a WWE script. But then Juventus got caught. What did they get? Relegated. Yes. The mighty old lady was sent to Serie B, stripped of their 2004-5 and 2005-6 titles. Legends like Buffon, Del Piero, Nedved, forced to play for 2,000 fans and stuff. Some players left, but a lot actually stayed. Buffon stayed. Del Piero stayed. They stormed Serie B like bullies at recess. One season later, back up, and not just back to domination. They rebuilt, rebranded, and went on to win 9 straight league titles later on. But they weren't the only team to do these things, turned out later. Lazio, Fiorentina, Regina, all caught in the mess and did something similar. But Juventus were the kings of the chaos, and even after the drop to Serie B, they never apologized. They still claim innocence to this day. But the funniest thing is even that Juventus fans don't count those stripped titles as gone. You'll still hear them say, "We have 38 Scudetti." No, you don't. You have 36. But sure, let's just ignore the fact that you basically won a title by texting the referee before the match. April 15th, 1989. FA Cup semi-final, Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest. At Hillsborough Stadium, the sun's out, fans buzzing. It's football. What could go wrong? Everything turned out later. By the time the final whistle was supposed to blow, 97 people were dead, hundreds more injured. And football, as we knew it, was changed forever. But guess what? The game still kicked off. Yeah, people were dying, and the match started on time. Because priorities, right? Let's get this straight early. It was negligence. From the police. From the FA. Back then, football fans were treated like trash. Especially working class ones. Especially Scousers. You weren't supporters. You were hooligans waiting to happen. At least that's what they said. So when Liverpool fans arrived at Hillsborough, they were herded like cattle. Poor planning. No crowd control, one tiny entrance, no safety systems. Imagine packing thousands of people into a metal cage, then opening one gate and going, "Good luck, lads." That's what the police did. And when fans started getting crushed, their answer? Open the gate wider. Genius. The central pens behind the goal filled up fast. Too fast. People at the front pressed up against fences like clothes in a suitcase. No way out, no space to breathe. Kids, dads, sons, granddads, crushed to death, not by violence, but by incompetence. People were screaming, climbing fences, passing bodies overhead. The police just stood there. Literally, just watched. Some even pushed people back in, because order mattered more than oxygen. But now here comes the worst part. You'd think the headlines the next day would be about failure, injustice, grief. Nope. The Sun ran the headline with the truth. And it blamed the fans. Said they were drunk, peeing on bodies, stealing from the dead. The FA, they picked Hillsborough, a stadium with no safety certification, for a major match. Brilliant planning. But then fast forward to 2012. Finally, the Hillsborough independent panel drops the bomb. Everything the families said? True. Everything the police said? Lies. 96 innocent people unlawfully killed. 97 now, as Andrew Devine's death was officially linked years later. They held a new inquest. The fans did nothing wrong, turned out. Hillsborough is the darkest day in English football. And the fact that it was blamed on the victims makes it the most disgusting cover-up in sporting history.